Dear students, today we are dealing with the topic e-governance. Across the world, we have been hearing about the term e-governance, as almost all nations in the world adopted ICT in their administration. Both developed and developing economies extensively using all types of electronic devices to make administration faster and transparent. This is the context of e-governance. So, our topic is e-governance. The application of information technology and communication for the purpose of governance is commonly known as e-governance. So, what do you mean by governance? It refers to the entire process that are designed to ensure accountability, transparency, equity, inclusiveness, empowerment and participation. So, e-governance is the application of ICT for delivering government services to different stakeholders in a convenient, efficient and transparent manner. So, who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are citizens, business, employees and other government agencies. In a broader sense, we can say e-governance is the use of ICT to promote more efficient and effective government, facilitate more accessible government services, allow greater public access to information and make government more accountable to citizens. Definition: the use of ICT to improve and enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of the delivery of information and services to citizens, business and organizations. E-governance is also referred to as electronic governance or online governance or digital governance. So, in simple words, how can we define e-governance, or what is the meaning of e-governance? E-governance is the application of ICT, information and communication technology, to governmental functioning to accomplish simple, responsive and transparent administration in government. E-governance mainly aims at fulfilling the requirements of common man at affordable cost and in fastest possible time. E-governance is about transforming government to be more citizen-centered. Now let us discuss what are the objectives of e-governance. First one, informed society. The main objective of e-governance is to build an informed society. That is, focusing on government information is publicly accessible by publishing information on a website for citizens seeking information about different services. Only informed people can make a government responsible. So, informed society is one of the objectives of e-governance. Second one, increased interaction. E-governance aims at an increased interaction between government and the public. That is G2C and G2B through feedback mechanism. People can ask questions through email, use search engines and download forms and documents. Feedback mechanisms usually make government aware of people's problems. Next one, citizens' participation. You know that India is the largest democracy in the world and citizens here are highly enthusiastic to a part of governance. A greater number of government services will be offered online. making public services more affordable and enhancing accountability and transparency. Citizens will be active participants in government and would be able to provide feedback on e-groups. Next one, efficient governance. E-governance aims to reduce the cost of governance by eliminating expenditure on physical delivery of information and services. That is, it helps in eliminating paper-based communication. Next one, smart functioning. Smart, it mainly emphasizes on smart, moral, accountable, responsive and transparent. E-governance emphasizes to bring out smart, moral, accountable, responsive and transparent governance in the process of government functioning. So the objectives of e-governance are to build an informed society, increased interaction, ensure citizens' participation, efficient governance and smart function. Now let us see what are the challenges involved in e-governance. First one, digital divide. What do you mean by digital divide? It refers to the gap between those who have access to ICT and those who don't have. Even now, there is still huge gap exists between users and non-users of e-government services. In India, majority of the people who living below poverty line and they're deprived of government services. In contrast, some people are extremely using the e-services of government. So digital divide is one of the issue that needs to be made narrow. Then only benefits of e-governance can be enjoyed by all people. So digital divide is one of the main problem involved in e-governance. Next one, infrastructure. There should be enough basic facilities in order to give impetus to e-governance. Lack of resources like computers, internet, especially in rural areas, will retard the progress of e-governance. Next one, awareness and usability. Users of e-governance may be literate or illiterate. Illiteracy of users and inability to use the computers also act as a hindrance in e-governance. Next one, security and privacy. Even though the security offered by government websites is high, the public are still concerned about security. Public are also more concerned about the privacy of data collected even as a part of UID project. So, security of cyberspace and misuse of data still act as an important hindrance. So, these are the major challenges involved in e-governance. Hope that you understood today's session.